What about distractions?
All the time. By the school.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Right, let me give you a couple of tips, and I'll probably put them up again a little bit later on. Anybody suffer with a lot of... Well, we live in the information era, don't we? We have an unbelievable thirst for information. So, anybody here got a smartphone? When you go into a meeting, and remember we talked about being in the zone earlier, do you turn your phones off, or do they, put them on vibrate? Do you have them on you? Are they linked to your email service?
Yeah.
Anybody have the phone where it's ringing and suddenly you think to yourself, oh, that's a sale! That's a sale. Have you heard of Pavlov's dogs?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know the story on Pavlov's dogs. He was a Russian psychologist, and he had some dogs, and he trained them to respond to a bell ringing. So every time the bell rang, he basically programmed them that he started by putting the food away, then took the food away, and over a period of time he would ring the bells. There was no food, but the dog still salivated. How many of you folks in the room now have the bells and whistles going off on your emails, your phone, whether you're at home or at work, and you're still salivating because that's an email that might be a sale, that's a phone call that might be a sale? And then it turns out, as we were talking about outside, it might be somebody else trying to sell you something. We have a thirst for information. As a result, how much of a distraction is it? Now, one of the areas that we work on is creating what we call the default diary, dealing with information potentially at a particular point of the day. For me, on a coaching day, I would normally deal with my emails at the point I get into the office. On a Monday, I'll deal with my emails at 9 o'clock for an hour. Do you want to know how to limit email traffic? Anybody have RE at the beginning of their emails? So you know when you get an email come through and that's the subject line there, and then you get RE,
Right. Yeah.
and then the subject. Do you know how to resolve that? Anybody want to know?
No.
Stop sending emails. An RE is a reference email to something that you're engaged in terms of you probably responded to the emails, an email thread, and you're continuing the conversation. Pick the phone up. Don't send emails. If you're sending email traffic, you're going to increase email traffic. How many, I have a rule. There's another great book out there, David Allen, Getting Stuff Done. And I'm quite happy to share with you, there's a schematic he uses. But in terms of getting stuff done, he talks about, if you're going to deal with your email traffic, it's either archived, and this is a simple process, archived, acted upon, or put into a project. Yeah. If it's acted upon, can you respond to an email in 2 minutes or less? In which case, respond to it. And that might be a phone call. We don't pick up the phone these days, do we? And sometimes the response could be a phone call, and even if they're not taking the call, you can leave them a succinct message. Top tip on leaving messages. Hi, this is Steve Gaskell, 07802 503260. Just responding to your email X, Y, and Z. Why did I put my number first?
So that rang first.
You want a phone call back?
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Suddenly I want them to know, if they go through the message, they don't have to go through the whole message again to get to the end, to the phone number, because I'm wasting their time. Then go, Steve Gaskell, and there's the number. Interesting. But you can really be smart about how you can manage your information. Emails, on the subject heading. If you do get these threads of emails where you're just answering from one, and actually it's World Cup 2014, there's the subject heading. But the email thread has just gone on for so long. You don't actually, it's all changed. You're talking about something completely different. Yeah. When the subject changes, change the subject heading. Really simple. Project. So if you've got stuff that's coming in, have project folders. Outlook and your email service provider, they give you that ability to create folders for projects. So you can put it in there, program it into the diary. Suddenly you become more efficient with your time. So how many of you are programmed to salivate when the bells and whistles go off?